definitely. Thanks for reminding me. I just actually meeting's recorded now. And I'll put you on the presenter list too.
Thank you.
Yep, you're good. For actually bringing it up.
You are a presenter.
Yep, you got it.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe got it. How are classes going?
Well, Spanish is kind of kicking my ass a little bit, but other than that, and then the presidential elections, which is like a kind of statistics kind of class, a little bit like inferring from data and why people vote this way. It's difficult, but other than that, just Spanish.
Yeah, no, I feel for y'all who are class majors, especially those who are like on the arts track, because bro, that Spanish like off of Twitter, everything I be hearing and like my friends, like I have two friends that have gone through like Spanish classes. I couldn't, like I really could not.
I mean, four, well, 4 semesters, so that would be intermediate. So, yeah, 4 Spanishes to
Yeah,
get that language.
hopefully we're gonna be almost fluent to where we can have some conversations though.
No, not for me, no.
Hey Tara, I like your backdrop. It's cute. Is
Hey,
that like a mirror
thank
with
you.
like you have like
I did it myself.
huh?
I said thank you. I did it myself.
That's cute. I like that.
Thank
It's
you.
like a mirror where you have like those fake ivy plants that are coming
Yeah,
through.
it's like I put the ivy plants to the ceiling and then I have like the lights going around them too. And then I just put my mirror in front.
Okay, that's cute. Come on,
Thank
backdrop.
you. Thank you.
How have you been doing this week, Tara?
Um, I don't know, cause I have this. So I'm taking. It's a stupid class. You're gonna see when I say the name, but it's called neuropsychopharmacology, right? And I'm taking this class. And our test is supposed to be Monday. And in class today, she was like, "Oh, well, I might push it back, da 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 da," all this other stuff. And she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna let you know until Friday." Why are you? What do you mean?
I can't. I really can't.
No, it's killing me. It's really killing me.
Look, we gonna make it though. We're gonna celebrate at the end because, baby, when I tell you, I think this is something that nobody's gone through. These new college students, we're going through something different. Okay, we're gonna be able to tell our
Completely.
kids later down the road, mommy and daddy, we survived a whole pandemic. Like,
Yeah, in college at that.
come on,
Mm,
literally.
terrible. It's so terrible.
Yeah, it's a lot, bro. Um,
How are you? How's your week been?
it's been pretty good. I'm actually excited. So I figured out polling for voting. So we got that all organized. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm sending the links in our Senate group message. So I'll talk about it right before I start sending the links, and they're gonna be making sure to go check it when I send them. Other than that, um, it's been pretty good. I mean, I haven't had that much homework due, so that's been a good thing. It's
Mm,
been pretty decent.
we love to hear it.
Hey Kim, quick question. Are y'all gonna be taking Senate appointments until we reach all 45?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not act up. Oh, David.
Heyo.
Hey, David.
I know I got a text about you sending the list of the senators. Did you ever get a chance to send that?
Girl. Okay. Haha. No, I didn't. Is it okay if I just share my screen and then just have you just look off of that list?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. And then I'll get you the attendance sheet in the drive. I'll share it with you. Or not in the drive, but in the Teams chat.
Perfect. Because I created an Excel sheet so I can have track of everything.
Okay. And good news as well, David. Well, this is for everybody, but we did, I figured out like a system for us for voting. So I'll be dropping the links inside of our group chat that we have on Teams. So I'm excited about that. And then it tags the person who voted for what as well. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yay! Trial and error, y'all.
No,
That's
literally,
the finally
that's
word.
literally what it was. And it was, I used the forms. I used the Microsoft forms.
Yes!
It worked. It was pretty easy.
Because I know I sent it. I was like, okay. That can be a way, then you can see everything. You can make it pretty. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, it helped a lot. Okay, so
And then if any interns are here, can you say I'm here in the group chat? Because I'm also going to be taking attendance for our interns as well to help Yasmin out. And I do have your name, so I'm going to keep track before and make sure to say, hey, I'm here right before the meeting and then after the meeting, so I know that you attended the whole thing. Because I can't see y'all. I only see like initials of everybody on the bottom.
okay. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys about another minute, 2 minutes, before I do start the meeting. But for those of you who are here, welcome you guys to our fourth meeting of the semester. If you are just joining for your first time this semester, of course, if you aren't, always welcome to you. I'm so glad that you guys got to hop on and that we have our meeting for today. So we do have a couple items on the agenda. Not even a couple. We have a pretty decent sized agenda with at least about 6 appointments. So yeah, they're not alternate appointments. Their appointments just spread out. But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you all. I've started my recording. You guys should be able to see that I am recording the meeting. Ooh, I don't like this. Okay, there it goes. I was like, I can't see nobody. All right. Okay, give it about another minute. I think, let me make sure that Miss Elizabeth Witt is here. I saw her join. Dr. Witt, are you on the call? Here, let me get her.
I saw she joined Cam, so.
Yeah, I did too, but let me see. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and just get started. So welcome everyone. So meeting is being called to order at 5:33 p.m. So first thing we have on the agenda is roll call. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the sheet. David will be leading us in roll call for the remainder of our sessions that we have. Just so you guys know. David, are you able to see the screen or do you need me to zoom in?
I can see it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start roll call. Senator Sanders. Alyssa. Don't hear anything, so I'm gonna say not here yet. Okay. Senator Casey.
Here.
And guys, sorry, excuse me to interrupt, David. Please go ahead and just be ready to take yourself off mute if you are on mute, so that we can make sure this process just goes seamless as possible.
Okay. Senator Christopher Williams. Okay. So Chris. Then me. Senator Grant.
Here.
Senator Hector.
Here.
Perfect. Senator Germain.
Here.
Senator Jordan.
Here.
Senator Kelsey.
Here.
Senator Melissa.
Here.
Senator Navia.
Here.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Senator Paola.
Here.
Senator Ryan.
Here.
Senator Stefania.
Here.
Senator Tara.
It's Tara, and I'm here.
Tara, thank you for correcting me. Senator Maria.
Here.
Senator Sophia. Senator Sophia.
Sophia's absent today.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Michael. Can you help Krista and Dr. Wick try to get in the call? Just because I know you have authority to approve, to accept people in the chat and everything.
I appreciate Krista should be in. I just saw she was in, but I don't know about Dr. With. Let me see.
Okay. Just give her a text real quick, or either just touch base with Krista. Okay, I'm gonna just move forward with the meeting. And
Okay. Finish. Sorry.
oh, I'm so
Cameron.
sorry.
You're good. I just had a few on the list. Senator Silva. Don't want to butcher the first name.
Eliza, and I'm here.
Lisa. Perfect. And lastly, Senator Victoria.
Here.
Perfect. So the only thing I don't have is Senator Sanders, Senator Chris, and Senator Sophia. Okay.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda was Dr. Witt's presentation. Hold on one second. Let me see. Because Michael, so I think what the issue is that she just needs to press join. She joined the chat, but she just needs to join the actual meeting. Because it doesn't automatically join, like it doesn't put you inside the chat.
Okay, I just texted her. Can we can't add her from here, can we now?
Yeah, I can. Oh, duh. I could do it as well.
Yeah, just add her from here.
Okay, it says it's calling. Sorry, guys. Okay, I think she's in here. Dr. Witt, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Oh, yay. Sorry. I
No,
thought I
you're-
was going to have to log out and start all over again. My Teams was frozen. So thank you for getting me in.
It's all good. It's actually your point on the agenda as well.
Oh, great. All right. So I will move along. Hi, everybody. Great to see the few of you that I can see. So appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. Just a couple of introductory things, and then I want to talk a little bit about the COVID testing that we're doing on campus and let you guys ask questions if you have any. Know that you all are leading and representing students in a very unprecedented time. And my thanks to all of you for your willingness to take on these roles. I know it's not easy to represent many students that you don't ever see. And so it's one thing to be a representative as you're going to classes with folks, but completely different when you don't see many of the folks in your colleges that you represent. So I appreciate you all taking on this particular role. I enjoy listening to SGA's work and the things that you all do. I like hearing your updates. So I look forward to all that you guys are going to accomplish this year. And I'm happy to support and help in any way that I can. I thought I'd talk a little bit about testing on campus and then give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions. I think there's quite a bit of questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it. And so I'll answer all that I can. If y'all stump me, I will take them back to the health center and have Dr. Herman respond, but hopefully I can answer all the questions that you guys have. We started testing on campus back in early July. We actually have equipment within our health center to run the antigen tests. The antigen test itself started out with a high false negative rate. That's been disproven over the course of time, and so we feel really comfortable and confident with the test and the results that we've had. We validated all the tests up until about a month ago when all the validations came back exactly as we had run them on our machine. So let me talk a little bit about what we're doing with asymptomatic students and what we're doing with symptomatic students. I think you all may know that we're doing some asymptomatic testing across campus. And the whole rationale and reason for that is to identify potential pockets of infection on campus to help guide our decision making. It's important that students who participate in these tests are asymptomatic. We don't need students who potentially have the virus who are having symptoms to be in that line one because we don't have a physician available for them. The random sampling testing is free. It is voluntary. There is a consent form that students have to sign, but we're doing this 3 days a week across campus. On Tuesdays, we're doing it in the health center in the rotunda of Chestnut Hall. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays, we're out and about in various buildings across campus. The things to keep in mind about the sampling is to at the random sampling piece is that our intention is to identify pockets of infection. So if students are going to locations where they aren't normally, that's not going to help guide our decision making. We've had a couple of situations where students who aren't even residents have tried to do the asymptomatic testing in the residence halls. The whole point is to determine whether or not we've got symptoms or pockets of infection within any of the residence halls. So that's one caution that I would have for all of you. The information, if folks want to be tested and they're asymptomatic, you can go to the health center on Tuesdays between 10 and 2 to be able to do that. If someone is identified as positive, we'll work through our contact tracing process to work with the student to make sure they're isolated, as well as identify any of their close contacts. And that's our process for all students and all folks who test positive across our campus. For our symptomatic students, we ask that they all go to the health center. They need to be seen by a physician. And I think there's been a question of, well, why are you charging symptomatic students and not charging asymptomatic students? And let me talk a little bit about that if I can. The whole point for symptomatic students to be seen at the health center is so that they can be seen by a medical provider. A COVID test is but one way that a physician or a medical provider is going to identify what is wrong with a student. And so if you think, well, because I have some sort of symptoms, I probably have COVID, I'm just going to get that test, and if it's positive, then I know what to do. You very well could have something different. And it takes a physician to be able to identify tests that need to be run, and then making a determination or diagnosis what they see, their examination, and the tests that they need. So it's important that we do accept insurance. That started a couple of years ago and has been highly successful. We accept insurance and went through the process, which took almost 2 years to be able to make that happen, because that was the number one request of our students for the health centers, that they wanted us to be able to accept insurance. What I want you all to hear and to take away from this is that no student will be turned away with an inability to pay. If you don't have insurance, it doesn't mean that you can't go and you're symptomatic. It does not mean that you can't go to the health center. In fact, quite the opposite, we want you to go. We'll work with students. We've never turned a student away. If you go, you have insurance, there's a copay just like you would have at your physician's office that's typically less than most copays. And the cost for the test is $30. If you have insurance, your insurance will cover that. Some are choosing to go off campus to be tested, and you're likely going to be paying much more than $30. In some cases, up to $150 or $200 for the test. And in some of those cases, you won't have an immediate response. We have a rapid test at the health center. Most results are known within 15 minutes. It depends on how many tests are being run at the time. For the asymptomatic testing, where folks are waiting in line to get their test taken, it can take a little while because a machine can only run a certain number of tests at a time. It takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to determine whether a student is positive or negative of the test. So think about when you're testing hundreds of folks, that's how long it could take. Let me see what else I want to tell you about the tests themselves. We are trying to test about 300 students, asymptomatic students a week, to see where we sit. And in the health center itself, obviously, we're taking students who come in who have symptoms and helping them. If you look at our numbers, our dashboard numbers have been relatively low, especially if you compare us to other institutions. You've probably seen that the likes of TCU and Texas Tech and others have had very high active case rates, and ours have been relatively low compared to those. We feel a lot of that's because of our approach and how we've handled it, as well as the contact tracing and the conservative nature that we've taken to isolate folks and quarantine folks to try to make sure we're isolating the virus. Our whole intention is to keep folks safe. We know that our students want to finish the semester, and we know we have many students who want to be on campus. And so that's why we started the testing process and why we're continuing with the testing process itself. The locations were chosen for the asymptomatic testing, the academic buildings based upon the number of in-person classes that are held in those buildings. So really went to trying to have a statistically significant sample size as well as statistically significant for the places where we are sampling. So all in an effort to ensure that we're isolating the virus. It doesn't do us a lot of good to test in a location where there aren't very many students or very many students taking classes. Let's see, if the student is negative, obviously nothing else that needs to be done. If they're positive, then obviously we refer them back to the health center. If the student is a resident on campus, we do have the ability to isolate or quarantine on campus and have been doing that, since we started back in April, being able to isolate and quarantine our students. I think I'll leave it at that for now, and let me open it up to questions and see if you guys have any questions for me about the testing and what we're doing on campus.
Go ahead, Brent. You're off mute. Wait, okay, you're muted now. Yeah, you're good.
Am I good? Okay, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Doctor, I just want to say thank you so much, first of all, for everything that you're doing in this crazy time for our fellow students and our constituents. And I wanted to ask you real quick 2 questions. One, is there anything that we could do in any terms of legislation or stuff like that that would help further y'all's efforts anymore in any way?
That's a great question and a great offer. Thank you. I don't know that there needs to be any legislation that needs to be passed, but as leaders across campus, you all being informed of testing and what we're doing, and being able to spread that to other students that you communicate with on a regular basis, I think will be really helpful. I think there are some misperceptions about the testing process and what's happening across campus. And so would appreciate any opportunities for you all to share what you're hearing today, Refer students who you know have questions about testing to either our COVID hotline or to the health center directly. If you know somebody who is symptomatic, encourage them to go to the health center. If that student says they don't have any money or they don't have insurance and they're concerned, send them anyway. We will work with the student. When I said we have not turned away a student, we haven't. And that's not just in this time frame with COVID, it's even before that. We will always work with the student. We don't want money to be a reason why a student doesn't get health care. It's the reason we have a health center. It's all about keeping students safe and providing the care that they need. And then helping for students to understand the difference between the random sampling testing, the asymptomatic testing, and the symptomatic testing. It doesn't help us for a symptomatic student to go to the asymptomatic lines just because that testing is free.
Okay, thank you so much for answering my question. And then my second question is, first of all, I don't know the full understanding of like how you would pay for something, but my question is, when y'all are charging, is that UNT charging, or is that something like the medical field needs you to be charged?
So there are certain requirements for us to accept insurance at our facility. And so we have to charge for an office visit, for example, for everybody who walks in the door. We can't charge for some and not charge for others. So that's why we do. We can make payment arrangements, and we can help identify some resources to support students. But because we accept insurance and because we know it's beneficial to our students, we have to have the same process for every student who walks in the door.
Okay, I guess I should have maybe made my question a bit more clear. Is when students are paying, does that money go to y'all, which would be better, or is it going to UNT's, the university pocket?
Well, it's not going to anybody's pocket. So it's paying for the test itself. It's our cost. We are not charging students more than our cost to administer the test.
Thank you. That does answer my question. Thank you so much.
Yep, sure.
Stephanie, yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. Hello, thank you. I also had just a few questions about the on-campus testing, like the Tuesday through Thursday ones. My first question is, are there set times for that on-campus testing? Like I know on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's like hour brackets in which it says you can get tested on campus. Is that like a set in stone time for each week?
No, well, we're generally doing it from 10 to 3, I think, but it varies upon the locations. On some days we're testing in 3 different locations. So we might be at one location for a couple of hours in the morning and then move to others. And so we've got one mobile testing team that rotates across campus to the various locations that we have.
Okay. And then my second question, thank you for that,
Sure.
is how far in advance will students know about where the testing sites will be?
Not very far in advance, because the whole point is the random sampling piece. We want students who, so for example, if we're in the chemistry building next Wednesday, we want students who are typically in the chemistry building on Wednesday to be tested. That's going to help us to identify whether or not we're having a surge, a legitimate type of surge, if we're getting the right students, and or what can be done about it. If we've got students from all over campus trying to come to this one location just for their free testing, it doesn't help us to identify pockets or decision making. It may tell us that we've got increased numbers, but not necessarily how to best isolate or what we can do about it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Are there any other questions? Well, thank you, Dr. With, for providing us with that information. Oh, wait, actually, yes. We have one quick question, I think, from Casey.
Great.
Sorry. So I had a question about the publishment of the like statistics. I guess is the only thing right now we have the just student, employee, and then the base number for the active cases currently. Is there another location?
No, you're seeing it on our dashboard. We identify the current active cases, and we distinguish between whether that's a student or an employee, and whether there's a direct impact to campus or an indirect impact to campus. And what that means, so if it's direct, it means it's somebody who has been on campus or who has in-person classes or who lives on campus. If it's indirect, it may be a student who is only taking remote classes, or a student who hasn't been on campus since last March, or a faculty member who's only teaching online courses. So that's the difference. So we want to make sure that folks understand that many of the cases that we even have don't have a connection to campus at all. They've been at home, they're living in Corpus Christi or Fort Worth, maybe even in Denton, but haven't been on campus or don't have any reason because they don't have any in-person classes, haven't been on campus. So we're trying to distinguish between all of that for the campus community, so they understand how many folks have been on campus that have been infected, to give you an idea and sense of what that's like.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Were there any other questions? Any other hands? All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Witt, for your presentation.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, y'all take care.
Update for COVID. Thank you.
Y'all take care. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So now next on the agenda, we do have our advisor, Dr. Krista Coffey, to give a presentation for Robert's Rules. Just to give you guys a heads up. So for the next 4 meetings, we will have Krista will be doing a Robert's Rules presentation. So there's 4 parts to the presentation, and it's just breaking down just the processes that you guys need to know. And then, of course, how to run within Robert's Rules, and not run, but how to use Robert's Rules within the meetings. Krista, she's an OG within this system, so we wanted to have the best to explain it to us.
Oh boy, and I do know what OG means, so
okay.
That's how hip I am. All right, so anyway, thanks. I'm gonna make these short and sweet so that y'all don't have to listen to the excitement that is Robert's Rules for too long. Can everybody hear me? Or somebody tell me they can hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So like Cam said, we're going to break this into 4 short presentations so you don't have to endure a whole hour. Now, I want you all to think about this in your minds right now. Normally, I'd have you answer in person, but on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being you have no idea really what Robert's Rules is, and 5 being that you're a Robert's Rules expert, what would you grade yourself as? Like, what would your comfort level be? So I'm by no means an expert. I really do want this to be a discussion amongst senators in particular. So as such, as we go through, if you're a 1 and you don't really know a whole lot, or 1 through a 3 and you have questions, let me know. If you're a 4 or a 5 and you want to share suggestions or insight as we go along. Now I've got the presentation up, so I can't see anybody. So Cam, I'm going to rely on you to kind of help me, or somebody jump in if y'all have questions, because I can't see the chat. I can't see people. All I see is the PowerPoint.
Okay.
So y'all go ahead and help me out with that. So as we go along, if you have questions, if you have tips, please share. It can absolutely be very confusing. The minimal goal is just to get you exposed to the idea, and then you will, over time, with practice, catch on in meetings. So just know that Robert's Rules is really formal. It's not so important, though. I want y'all to remember this, if nothing else. Don't get stuck on fighting over the rules. That will take up way more time than is needed. The most important thing for y'all to remember, if you remember nothing else, is 1, you don't have to be perfect. 2, that as long as you remember and enforce that every member has the right to participate by making motions, and everybody has the right to vote, to voice their own opinions and debate, as long as those 2 rights are applied fairly and consistently, that is the most important thing when we're thinking about Robert's Rules and the process. Okay, so first thing, very quickly, what we're going to cover today are what a motion is, basically. Okay, this is a foundation of Robert's Rules. So the heart of Robert's Rules is the motion. There are 2 types. There's a main motion and then there's an other motion. Today, we're only going to talk about the main motion. So what is a main motion? Simply put, it's a proposal that the group take action on something. Now, your bills and resolutions are in fact main motions in themselves, okay? So it's important that main motions, oops, somebody's texting me. It's important that main motions, including bills and resolutions, be worded specifically. For example, if the Senate wanted to have a banquet, the legislation would need important information like the amount of money to spend on the banquet, what budget line it's coming out of. Y'all saw the budget last week, and there's like 50 lines, what the banquet's for, etc. You wouldn't just say, let's have a banquet, okay? Next up, so the main motion. This is the most common type of motion, and it's where Senate action starts. So I've listed a few examples here. You see 4 examples of proposed motions that are started by main motions. Although again, in Senate's case, most are main motions that are already made by virtue of being on the agenda. So for example, most likely you'd already have a bill that would approve an allocation. You'd pass a resolution to support a fall break. You'd have a bill to change the bylaws. You'd approve an appointment to an election board. All those things would most likely already be on the agenda, so you wouldn't actually have to make the motion. But again, just trying to give you some examples here. So the important thing here is you can't work on 2 main motions at a time. You've got to dispose of the one main motion before you go to the next. So you can't basically discuss, in these 4 examples here, you can't discuss the approval of an allocation for $1,500 and passing a resolution to support fall break. You can't debate both of those at the same time. You got to handle one, get rid of it, finish it, vote on it, and then you move on to the next one. All right, I'm assuming there are no questions yet. All very simple stuff when we break it down here, I think. All right, so now, almost every motion follows a process. When I say almost, I'm going to give you some examples that don't next week or in the following week. So in a later session, I'll give you some exceptions, but for the most part, most motions follow this process. All right, very simply, you raise your hand, you seek recognition. Number 2, speaker calls on you. Number 3, you make the motion. And before I forget, the motion is I move that. You don't motion to move to. It's just I move that. All right. Somebody seconds it. Then the speaker states the motion to the committee, to the Senate, and at that point it's to the Senate for debate. Next up, you debate it. Then when it says speaker puts the question, that basically means the speaker restates the question to the Senate so that they know what they're voting on, and then you vote. Okay. Now this is easy to say, but it can be a really long process. We're going to learn a shortcut. Cam's already used it a few times, but we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a later session. Okay, so let's quickly walk through each step. And we don't have too much more of this, so don't worry. You don't have to pay attention to me too much longer. All right, so step 1 is you seek recognition. So when no other main motion's on the floor, when no other business is pending, you raise your hand if you want to make a main motion, and you look at Cam and you say, let's pretend you're Billy Bob, all right? You say speaker, or you just raise your hand, all right? And then next up is you have to be recognized. So Cam will look at you and say, Senator Billy Bob. Next, it's time for you to make your motion, okay? So you, as I mentioned before, it's important to provide the exact and specific wording for your motion for what you want to happen. So an example of a bad motion would be, I move to buy food for the banquet. An example of a good motion is, I move to allocate $1,500 out of the president's initiative line for food at the end of your banquet. That is more specific, okay? Now at this point, you're not going to make any debate. You don't say why. You don't say like why you want this thing. You just say your motion and you stop, okay? Now, more often than not, in order for that motion to proceed, you need a second. And again, we'll have to talk about exceptions next week. And again, if it's on the agenda already, you don't need a second for that motion. All right, so the person who's seconding does not need to be recognized. You just say out loud, like y'all have been, second. Okay, now if there is no second, the motion fails. It's done, it goes away, and then somebody makes the next main motion. All right, next. The speaker then states the motion. So the senator makes their motion, somebody seconds it, then the speaker is going to state the motion to the group. At that point, it belongs to the group and it can't go away until you all get rid of it. All right, and that means it's basically open for debate. So Cam will say, it's been moved and seconded to allocate $1,500 out of the initiative line for food at the end of your banquet. Okay, then it's time to debate, the most exciting part of every motion. Well, maybe not the most exciting, but well, it should be the most exciting. So during debate, that's when senators, you start raising your hand to be called on by the speaker, and that's when you get the opportunity to give your opinion. You can also ask questions. You can make amendments. Again, we'll talk about that at a later time, but you can make amendments to the motion. You can refer it to a committee. Debate is basically when you can change the motion. Any change you want to make to the main motion that's been out there, that's when you would change it. Okay. Now, not all the motions are debatable, which again makes this confusing, but more often than not, your motions will be debatable. Again, the ones that aren't, we'll talk about in a later session. Okay, and don't forget, you guys do have that cheat sheet in Teams that tells you about all the motions, which ones are debatable, which ones need seconds, which ones don't, etc. So make sure you have that on hand whenever y'all are having meetings. All right, almost done here. So next up, so y'all have debated. Debate's over, either because nobody has anything else to say or because somebody has moved to end debate. Then the speaker's going to state the motion one last time, as amended, possibly. So the motion's to allocate, in this case, it didn't get amended. So the motion's to allocate $1,500 out of the initiative line for food at the end of your banquet. And then Cam will call for a vote. Aye, nay, whatever he wants to do. Okay. And we're going to talk about voting in a later session too. So after everybody votes, Cam will then announce the results of the vote. So it either passes or fails. And then the whole process starts all over again, or goes to whatever's next on the agenda. Okay, so recap, ready? So no other business is happening on the floor, nothing's on the agenda yet. What do? You raise your hand, you seek recognition. Cam has to call on you. You make your motion. Somebody has to second that motion. Then the speaker says the motion to the Senate. Everybody debates. Once debate is done, the speaker gives the question one last time, or when we say question, they basically restate the motion to the entire body, and then members vote. Okay, so in a very quick nutshell, that is the entire process for how to handle a motion. And again, during debate is where you can change that motion. You can ask questions, you can amend it, you can refer it to a committee, whatever it may be. Okay, so see, that wasn't hopefully too painful. Do we have any questions about what I talked about today, knowing that we're going to get to some more complicated pieces later on down the line?
I have one.
Okay, I'm going to try to escape out of this without closing everything down. So go ahead.
So I think it was our last meeting. So what happens, I think someone motioned something, someone objected. Essentially what that happens, that motion is, what happens to that motion if someone objects to it?
Well, okay, we're going to get into unanimous consent in a later meeting, but really there's no objection to a main motion. It's just, it needs a second. And once it has that second, then it gets to proceed. And I should also say that just because you second a motion or a motion gets seconded doesn't necessarily mean you support the motion. It just means you believe it should be debated. Okay, so the objection came about in a different scenario. But if somebody made a motion to spend $1,500 on the banquet, that's not really an objection thing. If it gets a second, then it gets to proceed. You wouldn't object to that. I hope that answers the question, but I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah. I don't want to confuse people right now and go into a whole new scenario. So we'll do that in a future week. Okay, any other questions?
Grant had a question.
Okay.
It was the same as David's, but she already answered it, so thank you.
Okay, Christopher?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If someone makes a motion and no one seconds it, it goes away, right?
Yes.
So can that senator make another motion in the next meeting if it didn't get second that meeting that they made that motion?
Ooh, I'd have to look that up. I don't think so, because I don't think it within a session, like a semester, I don't think the same motion could be made again, because otherwise you'd be dealing with this every single week, the senator making that motion. Now, if they change the motion a little, yes, but
Okay.
the exact same motion, I do not believe so, because otherwise every week, seriously, you'd be dealing with the same debate and the same thing over and over again. You never get anything done. So I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no, unless they tweak it a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Like in the example I gave you, they could say $1,600 instead of $1,500, and that makes it a new motion.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Awesome. Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Krista. Definitely learned some new information. Woo.
Woo.
Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen back. All right. I don't like this. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move forward within the agenda. So bringing up old business, we do have the approval of our minute meetings from our last meeting. So I did go ahead and email this to you all. So I just want to bring this up. Are there any objections to the minutes? Okay, well, if there's no objections, we'll go ahead and approve our minutes from September 16th, and we'll move forward through the agenda. All right, for new business, we have the election commissioner appointment of Eva Lee. So just to go ahead and give you guys a heads up, so I did get our poll together. So we will be able to use an actual poll to vote today. So exactly how it works is I will be dropping that link in that Senate chat that I told you guys about at Retreat. So it's a separate chat it's a separate channel that you should see on the main channel. So you should see the UNT SGA channel. And here, I'm gonna go ahead and actually show you guys how to find it. So when you guys are going to look up the channels, so you guys should be able to see this. You shouldn't be able to see any of these other channels, but senators should all be able to see this SGA Senate channel all the way at the bottom. So so if you guys are in the video chat, you can either get on your phone or you can just go ahead and minus the video and you'll still be able to see, I think, myself like speaking. Please just make sure that you guys are on the Senate SGA channel so that I can drop that link in there and that we can go ahead and start using this system for voting. And I'll drop the link in there in a second. But Eva Lee, it is your time.
Okay, hi y'all. My name is Eva Lise, and I am currently a senior here at UNT. I have been on the election board for the past 2 years, and this year I would love to be the election commissioner. I would feel very comfortable with this transition as it is a position I'm very familiar with. I think I can provide a good perspective for the group as I've experienced both an in-person and a virtual election over the course of my time in SGA. So really, any way that it goes next semester, it's something that I'm prepared for. Overall, I would, of course, like every election commissioner before me, like to increase our voting percentages. But more than that, for this year in particular, I'd like everyone to feel comfortable and prepared in their position on the election board. As you know, it's very up in the air right now as to how this election will go and how all elections will go for this year. My role in SGA has always been in the election board, so it's provided me with a unique and unbiased perspective on SGA in general, and confidentiality being incredibly important in this role, and I've never had a problem maintaining that.
Right. Senators, so now the floor is yours.
Motion to go to a period of discussion.
Seconded.
Who seconded that motion?
Me, Stephania.
Okay.
So are you guys wanting to ask questions? Is that what we're doing? Are we discussing with senators? Okay. So the motion will be motion to go to a period of questioning. But go ahead, Grant. Can you just go ahead and make that motion one more time, just so we just make sure we're following behind Robert's rules?
Motion to move to a period of discussion?
It's questioning.
Questioning, sorry.
I second that motion.
Okay, all right, Grant, go ahead with the first question.
So obviously you know how the election commissioner job works, but I have a question. Is there a specific plan in place that you would like to implement for us during for elections during this time? Any new ideas that you'd want to do more virtually to try to reach our more non-on-campus students, if that makes sense?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually have quite a bit of, I guess you could say, experience with the virtual programming as I'm currently the NT40 president. So I think that there are a lot of things that we can do, posting QR codes and stuff like that. And I'm actually an RA as well. So I would like to have us in housing a little bit more as well, since I'm well versed with the people who run housing, and we need certain approvals for that. So I think that's something that we could definitely utilize this year for freshmen in particular. But as far as off campus, I think that everyone's kind of struggling with that. So to the best of my abilities, I would like to utilize social media outlets for this. But again, I think until we have a more set in stone way to reach those students, we're kind of tied with social media as of current.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Senator Casey.
I just had a question. You've been on the election board the last couple of years. You said, why do you want to progress to the election commissioner position? Because no doubt you're qualified. I was curious about your motivations to wanting to be commissioner.
I think as commissioner, I can definitely, provide a unique perspective, since I've had kind of both experience where it's in person and those kind of complaints, and then virtually the kind of complaints that come with that. So I think overall it's more, I see myself as like doing my due diligence to providing my experience in this position. And I have a lot of time to dedicate, particularly next semester, since I am a senior and I'll only be taking 12 hours. So I think like it's kind of me paying my respects to SGA in that sense.
Okay. Senator Melissa.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, like, you've been on the board of the committee for a few years now. And so I'm wondering, like, if you have had the opportunity to reach out to students to kind of get an understanding as to why people aren't participating in the whole voting process. And you've already kind of covered how you plan to reach out to people more specifically, but I'm just wondering if you know some of the reasonings why people aren't interacting with SGA and voting.
So I think each year has provided a more unique perspective. My first year on the election board, I think our election commissioner, did her best in that space. But similarly, I think that there were a lot of things that we could have done to reach out a little bit more. And since it was my first year on the election board, I wasn't very well versed with what SGA typically did. So I thought that it was enough. For my second year on the election board, last year being a virtual election, I think, again, it was a very quickly changing space where our previous election commissioner had his hands tied with the fact that nobody really knew how Zoom was working and how to, have the presidential debate and things like that. So honestly, I haven't really been able to see or hear why people aren't interacting. And I think that this year, because I've had experience in both spaces, it will be something completely different because I know how to run things in both areas, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And Senator Germain. JT, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
I had a question.
Yeah, you can go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. My question was, since you've been like on the election board these past couple of years, I was just very curious to what is the biggest thing that you're going to do differently than the other boards that you've been a part of? Like, what's the number one thing that you'll do differently than the past board since we don't see an increase in voter turnout?
So I would say the biggest thing is interaction. Again, like I can't really vouch for what what the election commissioners lacked in both of those years, because both of them I was new in that space, similarly to the way our election commissioner last year was new in that space. But I think the biggest thing for me will be interaction, because we are well versed in what that looks like in a virtual platform now. So if that has to be what happens, I think that we have better resources and better knowledge on how to do that. And then if it was in person, obviously, we had brainstormed a lot of stuff last year for it to be in person, and I would like to see that to come to fruition for this year. But of course, if it doesn't, I think that we can really bank on the fact that we have way more resources and knowledge about virtual interaction.
All right, senators, go ahead if there's any more questions or whatever motions you guys need to make.
I motion that we, no, sorry. I move that we vote on the approval of, I don't know, can't pronounce it. Evilise for election commissioner.
Go ahead and can you do the motion one more time, just fully throughout, just so we can just practice them?
Yes, so I move that we vote on the appointment of Evilise for election board commissioner.
Second.
All right, so senators, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is send this link right here in our chat. Please make sure that you guys go ahead and vote. And then Evilise, if you could just stay on the call for us, and I will go ahead and we'll just do kind of like a little Jeopardy, you know, we're just gonna just, you know, look quick, vote real quick, and we'll get right back to you guys. Okay, so it's been sent. So go ahead and send your votes in for that. So aye, nay, and abstain are your three options you guys have. So you should be able to see this. Let me know if you cannot see it.
Cam, can I be recognized to speak?
Hmm?
Can I be recognized to speak real quick?
Yes, go ahead. All right, does anyone object to Yasmin? All right, go ahead, Yasmin.
I was just gonna say, interns, please do not vote. This is for the senators only. I know we had a problem with that last time, so it's just senators voting. That's it.
It's only in our, it's just in the Senate chat. It's not in the general one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I separated everything up so we don't have any issues with it.
Hey, Cameron.
Yes.
I'm having trouble finding the voting.
You're having trouble finding the voting link?
Yes.
Make sure you're in the chat, Maria. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure. I think, let me see. Oh. I promise y'all. Doing my best. Okay. Oh, it says you're in there.
Is it the one that was sent at
right
209? Yes, I have that pulled up, but there's nothing past 2:09 p.m. for me in that chat.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll send you the link directly then.
Thank you.
Tara is saying you don't have access. Did you get it? I just sent it to you, Maria. So I believe, David, what was the count of how many senators we had present today? It was at 13 or 14? Or was it more?
Okay, so I saw as people that came in, so we have 2 absent. We have Alyssa still absent. We have Victoria still absent. So
and then Sophia as well. So if that's the number, then we're at 16. and I have 14 responses right now. So make sure you guys are submitting the votes. This is the first time. I apologize for everyone else who is waiting. Sorry, Evilise. We're trying to make sure that we get all this sorted out.
Wait, I'm here. Wait, what do you mean? Because you said I was absent.
Sophia and Melissa?
Oh, I think he said the wrong person. I'm sorry, Victoria.
Oh, sorry, Victoria.
I know you're good.
Okay. Tara, were you able to access it, the link?
No, I was doing it on my phone, and that might be the reason why it's not giving me access, but I don't know how to get out of this, like,
Go ahead.
video.
Just submit it. Oh, you don't know how to get out the. Are you on your phone? That's what you said?
Well, I'm on the Senate chat on my phone, and it won't give me access to it. And
Sure, by word. Go ahead and just submit by word. That'll work. And then I'm just gonna close down voting. It's been open for about 4 minutes. Okay. So, Tara, did you send your thing in? Okay. So, the ayes have it. So Evilise has been appointed as election commissioner. So congratulations, Evilise.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Bye.
All right. Okay. So, okay. Just checking the chat. Okay. So, still getting that process. I will see if there can be an easier way that we do it. I'm probably going to send you guys the link ahead of time so you already have access to them. And then just make sure when you guys do get those links that you're just only using the correct one. So I'm always going to title them of what it is. So if it's a Senate appointment, a judicial appointment, if it's actual piece of legislation, just make sure that you're only using it when we actually are voting on that specific document. All right, moving forward, we do have the Eagles Nest presentation of guidelines by Paige Saucer, our student allocations director. Let me bring that up real quick. Paige, let me know which document you want me to do first.
Can you do the policy one first? Yes, perfect.
Thank that one? The bylaws?
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Okay,
cool. Yeah, the policy bylaws. Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Paige. I'm the student allocations director. So over the past week and a half, I've been updating the policies on Eagles Nest funding and the guidelines just to fit a more COVID-19 world. So to begin, I'll highlight the changes that I made. So beginning with the Eagles Nest funding bylaws, under Section 5 funding requirements, A, student organizations can apply for up to $1,000 per program per semester, but any amount exceeding this limit will need to gain approval for the UNT SGA president. So I changed the amount from $3,000 to $1,000 just because it makes more sense for a virtual world, I feel like, just because everything is going to be online and there's not going to be any in-person events, programs, or services. And I remain hopeful for next semester that I'd like to use more of my funds then if in-person activities can happen again. And this doesn't mean student orgs can't apply repeatedly for more programs. So if they want to have 5 programs and each apply for student funding each time, they're totally allowed to do that. There's no cap. And this also doesn't mean they're limited to $1,000. If they have a really great program that could be really beneficial, I think could be really beneficial to the UNT student body, they can apply for more. It just needs to be approved through the UNT SGA president, so Michael. And then going down to letter H, funding requests for specific programs or services must be submitted at least three weeks prior to the programming date and may only be granted for programs and services taking place when the academic year in which they were considered. So here I change from 4 weeks to 3 weeks. Since nothing is going to be in person, I just thought 3 weeks was more appropriate time frame, especially since we are already in the middle of the semester. It just makes perfect sense since everything is going to be virtual. They don't need as specific planning as needed as in-person activities would be. And then Section 6, organization responsibilities, letter A, student organizations must submit an Eagles Nest application at least 3 weeks prior to the programming date. The submission of an application after the 3-week deadline will result in denial. So just like we talked about, I changed the 4-week mark to 3 weeks mark. And that's all on the policies of Eagles Nest funding that I change. And then the other file.
Sorry, I thought I was off mute. Do you want to take questions or do you want to move to the next document?
We can do questions now over this one.
Okay. Please just go ahead and raise your hand if you have any. Okay. Melissa, go ahead with the first question.
I'm just wondering, is there a maximum amount of times an organization can apply for the funding in Section 5A?
There is no cap.
Okay.
So like I said, yeah, they can apply multiple times.
Any more questions? Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to the next document page has for us.
Perfect. Thank you, Cam.
Here we go. Can you
So these are, oh, yes, I can see it. Thank you. Sorry. So these are the Eagles Nest funding guidelines. This is very similar to the bylaws, just more, this is posted on the website and everything. So under the qualifications for funding here, I highlighted, so all programs receiving Eagles Nest funding must serve for the betterment of campus life, present opportunity for student involvement, and are free, open, on campus, or virtual, provide equal access to all students where reasonable accommodations can be made. So there I added the term virtual just because all programs will be held virtual this semester. So I wanted just the guidelines to support the virtual programs. And then underneath that, I highlighted the $1,000 per program as we talked about with the bylaws. And then under the SGA will not fund the following: organizational banquets. That always has been the case. It just wasn't listed on here originally from the bylaw. So I added that so that could be stated. And then over the funding process, 1B, submit application online at least 3 weeks before the event, service, or project. So as we talked about from the bylaws, I changed from the 4-week to the 3-week mark. And then I also updated the dates to claim funds for this semester, which will open up September 28th, so Monday at 8 a.m. and close November 6th at 5 p.m. Any questions over that one?
No questions. Wait, I have something in the chat. Okay. Does anyone want to recognize Devin Skinner?
I recognize Devin speak.
Are there any objections? Okay, go ahead, Devin.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a quick question, and I've served on Eagles Nest committee for the last 2 years, so I'm very appreciative of this committee, and I think it does really good things. And I like saying that we're updating the policies and procedures. I think that's very important. Is there going to be an attempt, maybe at the end of, say, the spring semester, to review the documents again, depending on the environment or the situation that we're in? Because I see on their organizational banquets, which of course there won't be any as long as there's the COVID restrictions, but of course when those open back up, or the banquets and the in-person groups open back up, I'm sure that we'll want to amend that. So I was just wondering if there's going to be a regular review of those policies as the COVID situation develops.
Yeah, for sure. I would hope the guidelines and policies would get reviewed again. I just had to update them for this certain school year just because the state of our world is in right now. I wasn't allowed to do because I wanted to follow the guidelines and bylaws to get y'all's approval on that. So I'm able to move forward with Eagles Nest funding because it didn't say any of this beforehand for a virtual programming world. So yes, I would like to, and I'll make sure to make note of that towards the end of my term for whoever's next in charge.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, if there are any more questions, I just want to go through a unanimous vote. Are there any objections to the new amendments Paige has made to our bylaws for Eagles Nest as well as the guidelines? All right. Okay. So if there are no objections, we'll move forward, and these will be the new guidelines and bylaws we will follow behind for Eagles Nest for this new year. All right, thank you, Paige.
Thank y'all so much.
Okay. All right, so next we have the presentation for the Memorandum of Understanding. Michael is going to go ahead and do this presentation. Let's see, I'm going to pull this up real quick. Michael, you're there, right? Oh, maybe he's not here. I don't know where he's at. Okay. Hold on 1 second. He's not in his office. Okay. So for the Memorandum of Understanding, so this is a document that we have basically when GSC and SGA they had their breakup, they made this document essentially that focuses or centers around the undergraduate votes and graduate votes combined. So essentially what this document is talking about is a ballot referendum for any legal purposes may be proposed by a 2/3 simple majority vote in each of the Graduate Student Council, Senate, and Student Government Association Senate, or by a verifiable petition of 5% of the members of the student body. So key revisions that we have made, so we actually did our key provisions that we've made. So we did make some adjustments to this document. So I'm going to read through some of the additions that we did make. So this was an addition that GSC did bring up, that the committee should be formed by the third Wednesday in the month of September. So this is a conference committee that will serve as a fail-safe auxiliary committee who only convenes in the event that SGA and GSC leadership cannot come to terms with the writing, wording, or intent of any given referendum. Next bullet point, so any SGA or GSC constitutional changes may only go to a referendum vote from their respective bodies. Going through fees that can be assessed, so only one of the student bodies may only go to the referendum vote for their respective bodies. Issues only affecting one of the student bodies may only go to a referendum vote from their respective bodies. If the Student Government Association or Graduate Student Council decides the issue affects the entire student body, the issue goes through the process outlined below. All other referenda must go through the process outlined in the chart below. So the chart below that they're referring to is this chart right here. So I'm going to zoom this out a little bit for you all. So this is the process right now that we have. So the GSC president and vice president of finance are the same level as the SGA president and vice president, and then from there it continues to go down. So within legislation that's being approved, student vote, you can see the breakdown of exactly how that looks. We have the structure of the SGA/GSC conference committee. So all this stuff is new. Like I said, the only thing that we did change was this piece right here that explains that the committee should be formed by the third Wednesday in the month of September. So this legislation or the Memorandum of Understanding is always passed at the beginning of the long semester, so the fall. And it's just basically if there's any other concerns that GSC and SGA may have that they put in this document, essentially making sure that their partnership is aligned and that their all concerns are, being met as well. Were there any questions for the document that you guys may have? So we were just bringing this document to just get it approved, to go ahead and make sure we update our website with the new Memorandum of Understanding for the 2020-2021 year. But if there's no questions, I just move that we go ahead and approve this document with the unanimous votes. Are there any objections? Oh, something in the chat. Yes. Does anyone object to Devin speaking? Okay, Devin, yeah, you can go ahead.
Thanks. And it's probably just a straightforward question. I just wanted to double check. Did you get with Tiffany on this? And y'all agreed on the details and everything. So if it passes the Senate here in the GSC Senate, then it should just be a simple matter of signing, and we're good to go on it, right?
Yeah. So we just wanted to bring forward to Senate to show that there were changes that were made to the Memorandum of Understanding and have it approved. Who is this trying to come into the meeting? So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Stephanie, I saw you kind of came off mute. Did you have a question? Okay.
Good,
Were
thank
there
you.
any objections to the document? Any other questions? Okay, so we'll go ahead and approve this document and we'll go ahead and update this on our website and sign it. All right, so moving forward through the agenda, so now we have appointments. So one student wasn't able to come, so we do have Bushra, who is here for a Senate appointment for the College of Engineering.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bushra Al-Harbi. I'm a biomedical engineering major in my senior year. And I'm sorry, do I have the floor to speak?
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I was just confused because this is all new to me. So yeah, I did a quick interview with Cameron yesterday, and this is my first meeting. So as far as I applying as a senator and to represent the engineering, the College of Engineering, I feel that Discovery Park has been always isolated from main campus and the activities on main campus. And my main purpose is to represent the engineering students and be able to voice out their concerns and their needs to be able to maximize on their experience as college students in our journey as undergrads, as well as graduate students, hopefully in the future. This is because I'm also applying for the graduate program. And that's pretty much it. This is all new to me, so I have a lot to learn, but I'd like to believe that I'm a quick learner, and I think that I would gain a lot of experience from this.
Melissa? Does anyone have any, okay, there we go. All right, yes, Melissa.
Sorry. I move that we go to a period of questioning.
I second that motion.
And that's seconded by Stephanie.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead, Melissa, with the first question.
Okay, hi. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about any campus involvement you've had, or like an experience that you've maybe like had to be like a leader or spokesperson on behalf of other people, or anything like that.
All right, thank you for your question, Melissa. So most of my involvement on campus are actually academic based. I'm a member of the Biomedical Engineering Society, and I've been elected this semester to be the vice president of an honor society that we're establishing in our department, also in the biomedical engineering department. I worked in the library of Discovery Park, so I have experience in that. And most of my leadership skills are honestly project-based with regards to coursework at school.
Were there any more motions or questions? Okay, go ahead, Melissa. Melissa, can you hear us?
I thought I was talking the whole time. But I just wanted, you sound very passionate about this position. I'm very happy to see that. But I just wanted to see if you had like an example of how you would like to improve engagement between students over at Discovery Park and the main campus, and how you hope to bring it more together?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your question. So one thing that I noticed recently because of COVID is that we started interacting more on social media. One thing that I've been involved with over the summer was Discord servers. So I've been using it when I used to work in the library, and now I'm enrolled in different channels for like the electrical engineering, for the biomedical engineering. So I'd like to bring that experience um, to the main campus. Another thing that I also did, which was outside of school, was study sessions that are with the people all around the world. You know, like there are YouTube videos of people recording their study sessions. So I've been actually interacting with some students that are like within the medical field, and we would have sessions together, like we would share our screens, and that would make us held us accountable, like to actually be productive. So I guess using all of these advances in technology to better us as college students would help us and would connect Discovery Park students with the main campus students. So that would be one example.
Any questions or another motion? All on y'all, guys. Okay. Go ahead, Melissa.
I would like, oh, my bad. I move that we go to a period of voting.
Casey seconds.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. All right, so I did just send that in the chat, and so I think everybody should be able to use it. Tara, you should be able to actually use the form too before the settings on there were a little wonky. But go ahead and just please submit your vote. I'm gonna get us like some music to play during these like times when we're voting, just so it's not like so quiet and awkward. Okay.
Jeopardy.
No, literally, y'all think I'm playing? YouTube is my friend. I'll go ahead and pull her up. So just because I'm gonna compare these responses the same, we should have 15 responses for this form as well. And right now we are at 14. Oh wait, okay, so we have 15. All right, so the ayes have it. So Bushra, you have been appointed as a senator for the College of Engineering. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you all.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Man, okay. So, and David, I'm gonna, I can export these. Ooh. I can export these, so I'll start sharing these with you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So moving forward through the agenda, now we have Supreme Court Justice appointees. So first we have Alexa Campbell. Alexa, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, Alexa. Okay, so if you weren't, the process is going to look a little how it just happened with these past two appointments that we did. So you just go ahead and give a little spiel about exactly who you are and your interests. So you have the floor.
Okay. Hi, I'm Alexa Campbell. I'm a junior here at UNT. And I kind of just had a little something written down, so I'll just go ahead with that. I'm interested in serving on the UNT SGA Supreme Court because I've always had a fascination with the courts and the legal system. My dad is an attorney, and his love for the law and the justice system was passed down to me as I'm currently prepping for law school.
And as of right now, I'm a part of a constitutional law class with Kimmy King, which basically just discusses all the major Supreme Court cases surrounding free speech. And I'm also enrolled in the UNT Supreme Court class. And I find the process really fascinating. I'm genuinely interested in being a part of something so important. I feel like I would bring a wide variety. I feel like I would bring a wide variety of skills to the table if I were appointed to the Supreme Court. I'm currently serving as first vice president for one of my other organizations, as well as director of philanthropy for another one. So I know what it means to work with people as a unit. I'm unbiased and determined, and I know how to be organized, and I have my priorities straight. I know I'm the type of person to let go of any personal opinion before making a decision that affects a large group. And I feel like I would be an asset to this team if I was chosen, but regardless, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Senators, are there any motions on the floor?
I move that, or I move to a period of questioning.
Second, Melissa.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, David, with the first question.
So you were mentioning about kind of changes. What I'm trying to think. What type of perspective do you want to bring to the Supreme Court?
Like I said, I'm very unbiased. So just really like an open perspective. I'm new to this SGA, so I don't really know any of y'all. So I would like to get to know you, but like I said, I wouldn't say like unopinionated, but like I'm open to hearing both sides of every story that like regarding legislation, regarding a problem, regarding anything that would come up that we and my other Supreme Court justices would have to hear and make decisions on. I'm open to that, and I won't just be closed-minded, if that answers your question.
Melissa, you can go ahead with the next question.
Okay, hey, I was just wondering, you sound like you're really involved on campus. I'm a little concerned that you may not have time to give your the attention needed to the position. But I was just kind of wondering, what's your perspective on that? How are you with time management? Like, how are you doing with managing classes and your organizations now, so that we can kind of grasp how you'll be in the position?
Okay, thank you for that question. So at the end, I'm actually reaching the end of one of my terms for my director of philanthropy. So I won't be carrying on that position for this within the next couple of weeks. That will be ending. And as for my time management, I feel like I'm very good. I'm very organized. I keep a planner with all the dates written down, with color coded with every organization, so I never miss a meeting. I'm always on top of things. Days are crossed off. Assignments are always met. I feel like I handle stress very well. I keep myself organized with to-do lists for every day, just so I know what I'm doing with every organization, and so I stay on top of things. But thank you for that, for your concern with that. But I feel like I know how to manage my time and dedicate myself to each organization equally.
All right, Christopher, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, Alexa. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hello. So I just wanted to know, what abilities do you have that makes you applicable for this position, and how do you exactly see yourself influencing in your position as the Supreme Court?
Okay. I have knowledge of the Supreme Court just because I am a political science major and I love to study political science, which normally a lot of people don't like to do, but I enjoy it. And so I being in the Supreme Court class and having taken Kimmy King's con law class, it definitely has given me more information on how to do the job and how the actual Supreme Court justices in the world do their job. And so it's definitely enlightened me on why I wanted to take this, why I wanted to be appointed to it. But like I said, I'm very organized. I'm very unbiased, very open to hearing everything. And I feel like I'm a good problem solver. I'm able to, I guess, hear both sides of both sides of everything, and make it that each person is heard and that a decision is made for the betterment of the organization or the party as a whole.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, were there any other questions? Okay, go ahead, David.
Not question, but I move that we vote on the approval of Alexa Campbell to the Supreme Court.
Casey seconds.
Right, okay, here I am. I'm about to drop these in the chat. And like I said, hopefully there shouldn't be any issues, but if you do have issues, just go ahead and just submit your answer in that chat, or you can privately message me as well. Maria, I'm about to send you yours too, because we'll figure out all these issues we're having with the chat, but I'll send it to you personally. All right. Okay. So congratulations, Alexa. So it has been moved forward that you have been appointed as a Supreme Court Justice. Woo. All right.
Thank
so the ayes had it. It was 16-1 actually. Okay. So moving forward, we have the appointment of Courtney Murray as the next appointee for Supreme Court. Courtney, are you with us?
I am. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Courtney. Okay, so like I was telling Alexa, so you'll just go ahead and give your spiel of who you are, and then afterwards the senators will make their motions.
Okay, cool. So I'm Courtney Murray. I am also a political science major. I'm a senior this year. I'm involved in other organizations as well, a few different Greek organizations where I've held leadership positions. I've taken the same Supreme Court class that Alexa is currently in, and I'm supplemental instruction leader for a poli-sci class. And one thing that really interested me in getting involved in SGA Supreme Court is that I actually want to be a judge later in life. That is one of my big life goals. That is what I want to do. And I hope I can get there. And I feel like being a part of the SGA Supreme Court would help me gain valuable experience that would help me later in life that I could probably not get any in other organizations, I guess. Whereas in other organizations, I do gain leadership skills. It's just being on the SGA Supreme Court would help me actually see that type of future that I want to have. So, yeah.
Okay. Senator Melissa.
I move that we go into a period of questioning.
I second that.
Is that Kelsey?
Okay.
Yes, it was Kelsey.
Okay. All right. Just for David's record. All right. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, I'm just wondering, what are your career goals and how this kind of position and your major both will help you reach that?
Reach what exactly? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me clarify. You said that, you get leadership experience from, your classes, other things like that. But you said that this position can help push you closer to where you would like to go. I was just wondering, where is that and how can this position do that?
Okay, so this is my senior year here at UNT, and I'm currently applying for law school, which is very, very scary. But I do want to be a judge after, serving as an attorney for a few years, and more than a few years. It'll probably be a lot of years. But I think that being on the SGA Supreme Court would just help me see that that's really what I want to do and where I want to be later in life.
All right. Go ahead, Sophia.
Hi, Courtney. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I kind of wanted to reiterate the question that was asked for Alexa on what perspective and any presence you're going to bring if you do hold this position as a Supreme Court member.
Sorry,
Do you
cut out like on that last part. I heard the perspective part.
Oh, sorry. I just asked what kind of perspective and presence you would bring if you were to hold this position on the Supreme Court.
Well, I mean, I bring the perspective of a woman, obviously, and Alexa would do that as well. But I think that I would hold like myself to be very determined, and that I would like resolve as many issues that we face as SGA or as UNT as a student body, and that I could bring dependability, making sure that I'm readily available to help and assist in any way that I can.
All right, senators. The floor is yours. David, go ahead.
I move that we vote on the appointment of Courtney Murray to the Supreme Court.
I'll need it for the motion.
I second the motion.
Stephanie, seconds the motion. All right, I'm sending it in the chat right now. Stay tuned. This is appointment number 2.
Cam, where's the music?
Oh, I didn't know y'all expect me to have it ready now.
You were gonna say you're gonna play music.
Okay.
Hey, we had all fun at the all members retreat, so.
Correct, we did. Let me see what we got. The Jeopardy. Jeopardy, is it on?
It doesn't have to be Jeopardy. You could put whatever you want.
Okay. I'll just play Jeopardy for right now because I'm gonna figure out a playlist for us. Can y'all? I don't even know if y'all hear.
No.
No.
I think it's different than Zoom. I'll figure out if I can like put a sound on here or something. I don't know if you can though. Or maybe I can like bring a speaker. Ideas. Okay. Senators, please go ahead and submit your votes. Looks like we are at
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't like the quiet. It makes me anxious.
All right, you guys have about another 30 seconds to hit votes if you have not submitted your votes. All right. Okay. Has been approved as a Supreme Court justice. So congratulations. The vote was 10 to 6.
Thank you, guys.
10 to 6. All right. Okay. So moving forward, we'll have the appointment of Anthony Rojas for Supreme Court justice.
Hi.
Anthony,
Yes, I am.
okay. All right. So just like I was telling Courtney and Alexa, you'll just have this portion right now to just give your little spill of who you are.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Rojas. I am a poli-sci major. I am currently a junior, but it is my second year here at UNT. I spent the better half of my first year here at UNT trying to get to know the area, trying to understand, like, feel comfortable being at a university straight out of high school. And I decided to join the SGA and want to be on the Supreme Court because I wanted to get to know people, and I am very interested in government and specifically at this position on the Supreme Court because I believe it is important to have individuals who have unbiased opinions and will uphold the Constitution and bylaws as their job is, and to make sure their rulings do uphold the Constitution and bylaws that the SGA has set forth for the student body. So that is my little spiel.
All right, Senators, the floor is yours. David, go ahead.
I move to a period of questioning.
Melissa seconds.
All right, David, you have the first question.
Okay, so I know the former two appointees or people mentioned that they are in their senior year and have taken different courses regarding kind of how the U.S. works, etc. But do you feel like being your second year at UNT, do you feel that you're prepared enough for this role?
Absolutely. So right now, as they said, they took the Supreme Court class. I took the Judicial Systems course, which is kind of the same thing. It just kind of is a more like overview outline of what the judicial system is. But being here in my second year, I don't think that would necessarily make me unqualified. I actually would make it seem more qualified because I would understand and have the understanding of individuals who are in lower classifications, like a sophomore or a freshman or a junior in my position because of the proximity of age, and I would be in more classes in their level than the seniors might be in their level. So I do think me being a junior and me having that class and multiple other classes does make me prepared and qualified to be on the court.
All right, Senator Ryan.
I just want to add that Anthony and I are actually in the same group for that legal systems class, and so if it counts for anything, I know for a fact he would make an amazing addition to the court.
Thank you, Ryan.
Senator, just so you know, this is the question period. We can go to a period of discussion to, talk about our accolades and how we love our, the appointees. Just so you know, we will just keep it to questions right now. All right, were there any other questions on the floor or any other motions? All right, Senator Sophia, go ahead.
Hi, Anthony. I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not, but are you involved in anything else on campus?
So right now, no, I'm not. Only because, like I said, I've spent the better half of my first year trying to get around, trying to understand where, the city of Denton, but then the university itself, and coming into this year, and the entire COVID happened and everything. I kind of like stayed back trying to understand what's going to happen, like try to like feel whatever was necessary. But the opening of the SGA came out for the Supreme Court. I had to apply for it because at the end of the day, I really wanted to join the SGA last year, but I felt more comfortable trying to understand where I'm at, how I am at a university level, and the city and the university itself. But this year, I feel like I'm at the level where I can be committed to an organization, especially at the high level of the SGA is, and be able to represent the student body in the Supreme Court.
Okay. Sophia, we'll come back if you have another question. I'm going to give it to Christopher right now. Go ahead, Christopher.
Hey, Anthony, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So I just wanted to ask, what leadership positions have you fulfilled, and in those leadership positions, how were you effective, and how do you think you can bring that effectiveness to SGA?
So I went to a small high school in Fort Worth. It was called the Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences, and for 3 years I was class president. In that role, in the last 2 years, I ran unopposed because of the fact that I was an effective leader. We had to, in that small school, although we were in Fourth ISD, which is a large ISD in North Texas, we did have to create funds our own self for our own senior activities. So that brought to our council the the responsibility to hold events and create the funding themselves. And so I am proud that the council that I led and the student body that I represented was the highest earning student council in TAB's history, the short for Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences. And while on that, I was also, while doing that, my senior year, I was also the the debate president in that forum and realm, and try to help and teach the younger individuals, the freshmen and sophomores, how to currently debate in that sense. So I did hold leadership positions before coming to UNT, but it was just a year ago.
Thank you.
All right, Senator Melissa.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm wondering how you believe you can benefit from this position if you are appointed.
Well, I can benefit in multiple ways. Being able to represent the entire student body on the Supreme Court will give me the leadership abilities to represent a larger body if I decide to in the future. But also, it'll help me kind of fine tune my unbiased opinions and make sure we hold by on our bylaws and constitutions as the Supreme Court should. It'll give me the ability to be in front of individuals and hold my opinion as is to the Constitution and bylaws, and give out reasonable explanations of why I hold that opinion and how I interpret the Constitution and bylaws.
My apologies, Sophia. You can go ahead with your question.
You're okay. I'm just wondering how you intend to represent such a large body of students, because obviously this is a hefty position you would be holding. If you haven't been involved in any other organizations on campus, or have managed your time with academics and another organization.
It's not the fact that I haven't managed my time with academics, or I don't have the capability of managing my time with academics in another organization. My freshman year, I just decided to, as a personal decision, to kind of find myself and find who I am. Coming out of high school, I understand, and I know a lot of individuals on the Senate would understand that you are turning into a adult, and you're trying to have to find yourself and who you are as a person. So I decided to take some time and kind of learn who I am as a person and what I wanted to be. And I decided that a group of people being either in a leadership role or part of an organization would not allow me to have that self recognition of who I wanted to be as a person. And this is why I'm doing this now. It is just my second year at UNT. Like I said, I don't think being in my capacity being in the capacity and only being my second year at UNT would affect me being qualified. In fact, I think it would make me more qualified, because I would represent a student body that seniors don't see, or seniors don't have an understanding to, like I would. But like I said, it's not the fact that I couldn't manage my time in academics with an organization. I just decided to take the time to myself and recognize who I wanted to be as a person, and that was a personal decision of mine.
All right, Senator Stefania.
All right, thank you. Hello, Anthony. So my question for you is, I know you state a lot that you are capable of making unbiased decisions. My question here is just what your thought process or rationale is in order to accomplish that.
So I would go by based on what the Constitution about. Majority of I've read through the bylaws and the Constitution. Majority of it is straightforward. And so that's what we must do. We must go by based on what the Constitution and bylaws state. And that includes, not having an unbiased decision based on who the party that's coming before us. When it comes to that, there are kind of sections in the Constitution that do make us interpret it, and I fully intend to interpret it for the best of the student body. But like I said, majority of it is straightforward, and that's what we have to do. We have to go we have to go what the Constitution says and make our ruling based on that.
Thank you.
Senator David.
I move that we vote on the appointment of Anthony Rojas to the Supreme Court.
I'll second.
Who seconded that?
I have a question actually, real quick, for Cameron.
Yes. What's the question?
Is it possible that we move to a period of closed discussion? How would that work in this situation?
I would have to remove Anthony out of the chat.
Okay. And how would we go about like moving or making a motion to do that?
Well, you would just motion to go to a period of closed discussion.
Even though David just motioned to.
Point of order, you would say objection, and then that would get rid of that would come as a precedent first, and then you would vote for the period of closed discussion, right?
Yes, Krista.
No, the motion was already made and it was seconded, so y'all need to debate it and get rid of it. So if you want to go into make a motion to go into closed discussions, you'd have to vote the motion to go to the meeting now, if that makes sense.
Krista,
You're already in the motion.
So we are in the
whoever made the motion can withdraw if they want.
Who seconded the motion? And David standing with the motion. So if there isn't a withdrawal of the motion, then we'll move to a period of voting.
If the senators want to discuss or do a private discussion, I'll go ahead and remove my motion or not. Yeah.
Okay. So the motion has been removed. So we'll go to a period of closed discussion. So Anthony, I'm going to add you back into the chat once we finish our closed discussion.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let me see. Hold on 1 second, everyone. I'll let you know when he is gone. Okay. Remove from the chat. All right. So Senator Melissa, you can move on with your discussion point.
Okay. I just wanted us to discuss or kind of consider the fact that he has no experience in holding a leadership position on campus or really any involvement. I'm not trying to bash him for choosing to find himself his freshman year, because I do think that was really important for him to do and a really mature decision for him to make. However, I'm concerned because of the weight of the role that he would be put in, the fact just all of these, I guess, just all of these things are making me hesitant. And I just kind of wanted to hear other people's perspective and hear other people's thoughts on how they see him in this position.
Does someone want to recognize Michael to speak? He did raise his hand first.
Yeah,
I recognize Michael to speak. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, Michael, you can go ahead.
Okay, well, hey everyone. So I just wanted to input a little something. So Anthony has been very adamant about trying to get involved in this organization. He has been constantly emailing me, asking me about ways that he could get involved, and I told him the Supreme Court because in his statement that he was sending me, he submitted that he was interested in law and that he was interested in politics and different things like that. I think he would be a really good fit. He is a very smart, educated person, and he is trying to gain experience in an organization. So if we don't give him a chance to gain any experience, then how is he going to? So just wanted to leave y'all with that.
Okay. Senator Ryan, go ahead with the first question point. Or your discussion, I'm sorry.
Well, Michael said kind of what I was going to say, but just because I've worked with Anthony a lot this past, well, basically for the entire semester so far. One, I think his previous experience from high school, kind of speaks for itself. But on a personal note, I've seen his work ethic and his demeanor in class, and when it comes to projects or assignments, and there's just no doubt in my mind, because we've all had those group projects where someone will kind of slack off and still get credit, or not hold up their end of the bargain. That's not him. He would make a fantastic addition to the Supreme Court.
Sophia, go ahead with your next discussion point. And just a reminder, not saying Ryan you did this, but just a reminder, don't reiterate anything that anyone else said. You can just, if you agree with the statement, just go ahead and send it in the chat. Thank you.
I was just going to say that I agree with Melissa on this, that yes, while if he were to fill this position, like how can he gain leadership position if he doesn't hold a position? But I do think maybe we should consider the fact that he might, it might be better for him to hold a different position, just because I feel like the Supreme Court is pretty hefty, and having no organizational experience, I think, does play a large factor in when voting for him, because being in organizations on campus really allows you to connect with the student body even further than that role would already. And he's going to be representing and speaking on behalf of the student body when he hasn't been a part of an organization in the student body, if that makes sense.
All right, Senator David.
I would just like to mention that he did say that he was the senior class or class president for 3 years. So I think being president of a class does come with a lot of responsibility, and that does serve as leadership experience to hold a hefty role. So I just want to throw that out there.
Okay. All right. Senator Ryan. Ryan, you're on mute if you're speaking right now.
No, I couldn't hear you call my name. Not to refute anyone's, specifically, just something a couple people have said in regards to previous experience. This is the only student org I've ever been a part of, and I wasn't a part of anything my freshman year. I wasn't trying to find myself. I just chose to focus on my studies, and so I don't know if that can be an accurate representation on what he can or cannot do. I'm not trying to be rude or inconsiderate of anyone's viewpoint. I'm just kind of stating very clearly, at least my opinion, that past actions, at least freshman year in college, does not necessarily reflect his overall demeanor or ability to hold this position.
All right. Senator Tara, go ahead with your point.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure, because y'all keep bringing up his high school experience, and he's a senior right now in college, right? Like, what is he in college? What is his?
Sophomore.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
He's actually a junior, my bad.
Yeah, Supreme Court justice has to be at least junior status. Okay, Senator Grant.
I would just like to have my. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I just want to let my other fellow senators know, from someone who has personally tried to get appointed and not receive the appointment, it is a very crushing blow. And for us as senators, we are there to help every student to reach their full potential and support them in no matter what and hear their voices. So in doing this, by letting him become a Supreme Court justice, I do believe that it would be beneficial not only to us to show, hey, if you have the dedication, you're full-hearted, you want to do this, then you can join us in any time. It's just, if we don't do this, I feel like it would question our promise for more inclusivity for our fellow students and our openness to hear and appoint anyone who wants to be dedication with some background. And it sounds like he has both of. He's dedicated. He was president of his student body in high school, so I don't see the problem here.
All right. And Senator Melissa, your discussion point.
Hey, okay. So I agree with what you're saying. I agree with the majority of the points that have been made so far. I do think that we should take into consideration his involvements in high school and where he wants to go in his future. I'm more or less, I want him involved with SGA, yes, but I'm questioning whether this is the role that's right for him. I don't know if we can maybe recommend that he's involved in a different way. But for example, Grant, the first time that you came, we didn't appoint you. And then, the second time around, I personally saw so much growth. Just how you've been carrying yourself thus far. So I do want to acknowledge how crushing of a feeling it might be. But it could be something that maybe motivates him. I'm not saying like we completely shut him out or whatever. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just, I want to, I just don't know if this is the correct position, but I do think he needs to be involved with SGA.
Okay, so since we are in the discussion period, of course, you guys can vote how you see fit. But I'm going to continue to go through discussion points. Please, like I said, just limit reiterating. And if you have any new discussion points to bring up, please just go ahead and bring up those discussion points. Would someone like to recognize the president to speak?
I recognize the president to speak.
Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Okay, so just one thing that I want to throw out there. I would like to say that we kind of need to stray away from sounding very contradictory. We're kind of bashing a student, not bashing, just kind of making a student who's involved seem like they need to not be involved as much for this position, but then we're also saying that a student who isn't involved in that many organizations or isn't involved in an organization at all needs to be involved in an organization in order to do this. So just kind of stray away from that as well.
Okay. Senator Ryan, go ahead.
I was just going to motion that we move to a period of voting. I think that everyone's opinion's been made known, and I don't think we're going to sway anyone else's vote at this point.
I second that motion.
All right, so we'll go to a period of voting. So I have dropped the link in the Senate chat, and go ahead and submit your votes. David, on attendance, can you message me the attendance who was, just text me who was absent, because I'm reviewing the votes for our last appointee just to make sure everything was correct on my math. You can just send it to me.
Yes, I kind of updated. I kind of constantly check the list of participant as people come in, just changing the status of the attendance. So yes.
Okay, you guys have about another minute to submit your votes. We are on Supreme Court. Did you guys get it? Has nobody responded back to the vote? I don't see any responses on it. Oh, okay. All right, so the ayes have it. So Anthony was approved as a justice for the Supreme Court. All right, so I'm gonna add him back in the chat, and then we will move forward with the rest of our agenda items that we have. The vote was, let me let you all know what the vote was. It was 13-5. So that's one thing that I need to remind you all of, and please make sure that you guys are voting every single time because our votes are skewed. They're looking different every single time. This vote was a total of 18 people. The last one that we had was 16 people. So you need to make sure that you're voting every single time because what it's doing is it's messing up our numbers of what the majority is. Okay, so please make sure when you are coming into the chat that you are constantly looking at it if you are stepping away, just to make sure that when it does come to a period of voting that we are actually voting every single time. I do know some people did come in late, and so I am going to um, um, make sure with Krista that votes are either still viable, they're still alive since you did come to a meeting late, or if your vote doesn't count, because we will end up having to review some of these votes because some students did come in, or some senators did come in late. Yes, Senator Grant.
I'd like to motion to have Devin to be recognized.
Okay.
Am I recognized?
Were there any objections? Okay, yes, go ahead, Devin.
I was just gonna point out real quick, and I don't want to speak too much on the procedural stuff simply because I'm not a senator, but I did want to point out if there's any qualms or any reason why you would want to not vote, you always have the abstention option. It's something that I know as a senator I try to avoid, simply because I did represent a constituency, but if that's part of the reason for the skewed votes, then you do have that option. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there just in case, it maybe got forgotten. It's one of those things that people do forget because it isn't used that often. But just want to throw that out there. Sorry.
Okay. Anthony, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so congratulations, you were appointed as a justice for this upcoming semester.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with the agenda. Okay, so for office hours. So I did email everyone a link for office hours as well as a one-on-one link. So to explain everything, so one-on-ones, they'll be once a semester. So you just pick your dates that you would like to have your office hours for that semester. And then from there, I will send you a calendar invite, and then we will, of course, have our one-on-one for that specific date for office hours. So what I'm asking you all to do is email me what day you are free and what time you are free. So just to remind you all, office hours are held weekly. So this is a part of your responsibilities. So I've had I've had two senators who have emailed me their office hours. And so it doesn't really matter if your office hours are during the same time. So essentially what I am doing is I am emailing you back with your specific link for their office hours. So everybody is linked within my Zoom account, but it's totally fine because everybody has authority to be able to access those accounts, or not access the account, but actually access the Zoom. So yeah, I mean, pretty much that's how office hours will work. So you will have to register every single time. So the reason why I did ask, or I am having you all register, is because so that I'll get a notification that you're doing your office hours for that specific time. It's just accountability measure, as well as also so we can have a system for when students do come to office hours. For example, if Senator David is holding his office hours, I can know exactly what students did come, and then I can also have their information so that we can go ahead and reach out in the near future if we would like to follow up with any concerns that they may have. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the information for office hours. I did see two hands did go up. David, you can go ahead with your question.
Thank you for the clarification of knowing when do we have to submit it, or because I thought there was supposed to be a doodle.
Yeah.
But my real question is, when can we start? Can we start next week or a week after that?
So I was actually supposed to get to that part too. So office hours will start So office hours will start October 5th. So that is in almost about 2 weeks, so you have a little over a week. But you have 5 days from when I submit that email. So I'm gonna give you guys a tad bit extension. I need you guys to please respond back to me by the 29th, by actually the 30th. I'm gonna give you guys until next Wednesday to respond back to me with exactly which day and time you're gonna hold your office hours. We do have, does say in bylaws 5 days, but I do understand that there is a lot going on. And then if you didn't understand my email, because I did like include like a link in there, and that was before I realized, well, senators obviously probably will have office hours during the same time. So that was when I decided to go ahead and just split it and go ahead and give you your own link technically. Sophia, go ahead with your question.
I have a few, and it's just because I want to like make sure I'm on the same page. Okay, so the one-on-ones and the office hours are essentially the same thing, or the one-on-one is a separate meeting that will take place once during the semester?
The one-on-ones is a separate thing, so that's just once a semester. So it's just 30 minutes, I believe, is what I'm sending you all. That's the time for our one-on-one meeting.
I'm assuming the one-on-one will be to review like how things are going and assess. Okay. Yeah. And then the office hours will be the one that's once a week, and those will be for an hour.
Yes. Okay. So those will be for an hour.
Okay.
Okay. I saw. Go ahead, Ryan, with your question.
Not really a question, more of a comment. The doodle for the one-on-ones won't let me enter my name for a time slot.
Let me see about that one. I'm not for sure. Let me figure that out right now. Grant, go ahead with your question, and Ryan, I'll get back to you.
My question is, like, where do we go to sign up? Or do we just send you an email saying this is the best day for me to do office hours? We just send you an email?
Yes. So just send me an email what time. And so from that email, I'll send you a confirmation that I've set up your Zoom that's recurring. So that's the other thing that I need to let you all know about. So office hours will end the 16th of November. So the week right before Thanksgiving break is the last week we'll have office hours. Of course, if there's any issues that we have already known with technical difficulties and everything else, there probably will be. So, of course, please let me know if you're having any sort of issues getting on the Zoom, any kind of issues, concerns about maybe if you're not getting that many students, and we can, of course, figure out another alternative solution. But you guys do have to have office hours, so they will be weekly. But yeah, just email me exactly what time it is, and then you should be good to go. Okay. Ryan, I'll send you the link. I'm going to send the link in the Senate group chat. Hopefully, maybe it'll be a different, just me sending it that way. I'm not sure exactly why it's not letting you set up your one-on-one. And I mean, if you want to make it easier and just email me exactly your one-on-one too, that's fine. All I'm doing is just sending you a calendar invite of what time we'll be having our one-on-one. That's literally it. So if you want to just select a day or just email me exactly when you're free, since you are having issues, and when I'm free, then we can just touch base from there. But all you need to do is just have that completed as well by that week of November 16th. So that'll be that week right before Thanksgiving, because after that we will be fully online. Were there any more questions about office hours or one-on-ones? Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Of course, I do know that it is kind of, it's a lot going on and it might be a little confusing, as well as make sure that you hold on to your link. I will end up asking our communications director, that's also what I want to update you all on, but I will end up talking to our communications director of putting that on the website. So even if you do forget your link, or if you can't find it in your emails, you can just go directly to that link and then go ahead and access your office hours from there. But it will be made available under each person's name on the Meet the Team tab. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, so another update outside of the office reports. So our communications director will be leaving. So her last date is October 1st. So we have opened the application. The first day was yesterday. And so we have been receiving some applicants for that application. Definitely put the word out. yeah, I mean, if you guys know anybody, definitely just feel free to reach out to us for referrals, or definitely just pass that link over to whoever you may know. But outside of that, since we are at 7:37, I'm just going to ask a general question. Was there any questions for any director within office hours? Or not office hours, officer reports? I'm just asking for a general, I'm going from chief of staff all the way down to president. Okay, go ahead, JT.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So I just had one question, and it was kind of in part, you've kind of already spoke on it a little bit as far as Gia leaving. My question was, I noticed that when there were other vacancies for positions within the exec board, there were no applications. There were no, hey, we're looking for somebody to fill the position. But instead, the position was filled by, I'm not sure what the process was for you guys as far as filling those positions, but there were no applications out. But it seemed that those positions were able to be filled by somebody that either that the exec knew, or either were close to, maybe in friendship or orgs. And so I was just trying to figure out, moving forward, is the exec board gonna always, anytime a vacancy happens or opening, will you always broadcast it and have like open applications for everybody, as you've done with Gia, who I'm assuming was not a friend or close in ties to an org that you knew of, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So the reason why Paige was reached out to was because she was the second pool applicant that had applied originally, and that we wanted to extend an olive branch to, or an interest in applying for a or becoming an appointee. She already applied, so Krista let us know that all we had to do was just go ahead and bring her to Senate to be appointed. Since she did apply and she accepted the position, we brought her to Senate, and she was appointed. The reason why we didn't do the same thing for communications was because we didn't have anybody else who we were interested in within that specific position. So that was the reason why we put it out on social media. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so just a quick follow-up question. So to answer my question, I'm sorry, let me gear my question more forward. Moving forward, can I get the exec board or whoever, whether that's Danielle's or Michael's or Krista or you, whoever, can we get a commitment as the Senate? Either you're going to always do this when a vacancy happens, or either you are not. And so that's just basically my question. Like, are you always going to handle vacancies and job openings as you have with Gia? Because it's very well done. Whoever did this for Gia's position was great, but I wish that would have been done for all these other vacancies that have popped up, even throughout the summer and now, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we can go ahead and put a post out. I would hope that this never happens again. Gia is leaving for personal reasons. And so we, of course, just decided to put the application out because we didn't see any other applicants within that pool that we were interested in extending an interest to. But it's either way, but we can definitely go ahead and just still put a notice out that there's an application that is open.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, Senator Grant.
Yes, I'd like to recognize Yasmin. Or motion to
second that.
Hi, I actually typed in the group chat. I can go after Devin. Mine is about my position. So if Devin wanted to speak on the question previously, he can do that. I'll wait after him.
Are there any objections to letting Devin speak? All right, go ahead, Devin.
Thank you, Cameron. Just a couple of quick questions, and without getting too far into detail, if this is a situation where those personal reasons are reasons that she didn't want to be public, was the separation amicable, and was it a resignation, or was she fired?
It was a resignation, and it was amicable.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead. Was there any objections to letting Yasmin speak? All right, go ahead, Yasmin.
Sorry, I know we're a lot of minutes over time, so I'm just gonna make this quick. We don't have time for breakout rooms, obviously, so I will just be sending every senator an individual email with their intern, not their intern, but an intern that they will be shadowing. I'll do that after this meeting, and then during your office hour times, hopefully the intern that's shadowing you can come and talk and whatnot, because that is just one of their requirements is to co-sign legislation. And as I said in the summer, I introduced this this particular part of the intern program just so it'd be easier. So I know we're over time, and I do apologize for that, but I've been singing this like a song that I want to pair y'all. So I will do that after this meeting, and then from there you and the intern can decide when you're going to meet. But I just wanted that to be said before the meeting ended.
Yes, Senator Grant.
So after this meeting, we're gonna do like a break room with our.
No. I was gonna email y'all individually. I'm so sorry. I see how the confusion. No. I'm going to email y'all individually with your intern, and then not your, but an intern, and then y'all can go from there. That makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
And I know there might have been some questions at the beginning of the meeting as far as the SGA intern pair up. So Yasmin, just to give you an action step, if you could, at the next meeting, just present and explain exactly what your envision is for the pairings, and exactly also what you expect from the senators and what you expect from the interns, just so everybody is just made aware of if that's a meeting that all interns will be at. Just wanted to let you know about that, because there were some questions that kind of popped up at the beginning. But moving over back to the officer reports, were there any other questions about the officer reports? Just trying to speed through. Any positions at all? Any questions? Yes, Senator Grant.
The committees.
What about committees?
Huh?
Are you talking about Senate committees or?
Senate committees, yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you actually brought that up. I forgot to put that on the agenda. So I'll be emailing you all on Monday with a form. So how we're going to do it is the form. I won't be doing it through our meeting, just because it's going to be too time consuming asking who's interested in what. I'll have a form, and then from there you can apply for the committee off that form. So that's how we'll do that. And then at the next meeting, then we'll explain exactly when committee meetings should be started, as well as what are the bylaws and the rules for committees. Yes, JT.
Yes, my question was, for the ad hoc committees, are we still doing that through the form? Or if we wanted to do an ad hoc committee, how would we go about that this year, since we're not doing it during the meeting?
Yeah, so you can bring it up, so you can email me about an ad hoc committee, or you can bring it up during a Senate meeting to be added to the agenda, and then the Senate can vote on that committee. So that's how we'll do that. For the standing committee,
okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna wait till we have our Supreme Court justices to interpret the bylaws, because Krista and I were reading it, and the interpretations could be seen both ways of if a senator is optional to sit on the committee, or if they aren't. Bylaws is kind of saying something different. It doesn't explain it exactly. So once I get interpretation from Supreme Court, then I'll let you all know if you can opt out of a standing committee. But just so you know, I believe it's specified that the ad hoc committee you cannot opt out of. But we'll talk some more next meeting about that. I didn't want to elongate our time today. Okay. So if there aren't any other questions about office reports, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:46 p.m. So I'll go ahead and see y'all later on Wednesday. Bye, guys.
And then before you end it, interns, just make sure you text that you're. Oh, never mind. Oh, is it here? Interns.
I don't know.
Text.
I don't know if they left or not.
Oh, here. It's still here. I just need an interns to. This is for attendance. So I know y'all.
Yeah. Dave. Ooh, I just hit my elbow. David, I was gonna say that I'm gonna let them leave early, like around 7. So, like usually, because I don't, they have things to do. I don't want to make them stay, 2+ hours for things that they're not directly involved in.
Okay.
So,
whatever. You have my personal number now. We can text.
Yes.
FaceTime, whatever you want to do. Do you like?
Yes.
Oh, it's still recording. I'm dead.
No, it's still recording. They can hear this. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. I know there's an option to